But when you have B. John Robinson, Tyler Algier, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, and your offense is best known for false starts, you failed. You had to get it shaken, and it didn't happen nearly enough. In 2021, Fontenot was tasked with turning around a team that hadn't seen a winning record nor the playoffs in 3 seasons and was still reeling from Super Bowl 51. After 5 seasons under Fontenot, the Falcons now haven't seen a winning record nor the playoffs in 8 seasons, and they're still reeling from Super Bowl 51, and that was 10 seasons and 2 additional Tom Brady Super Bowl rings ago. And never forget that Arthur Blank is paying Kirk Cousins $180 million for 2 more years, while also having Michael Penix, who's coming off a 3rd lifetime ACL tear, for 2 more years too. And right now, neither one of them is his answer. And if there's one image that will forever mark Terry Fontenot's time in Atlanta, it is, without a doubt, the shot of the Falcons draft room on April 25th, 2024, where Fontenot seems to be explaining to Blank exactly why they drafted Penix when they had committed to Cousins. It wasn't all bad, but it wasn't good either, and certainly not nearly enough to justify Fontenot staying. I'm Mike Semperlevy with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. 2-minute warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you've ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled KATY.org. Team up with them today.
It was the Roman poet Virgil who said, "Easy is the descent to hell. All night long, all day, the doors of dark Hades stand open. But to retrace the path, to come out again to the sweet air of heaven, there is the task, there is the burden. If I cannot move heaven, I will raise hell." We'll talk about that later, but now it's time for Rick Tittle and titillating sports on Sports Byline USA. All right, thank you for that. 2 for Tuesdays. Come on in for double shots of Judas Priest and Van Halen. We're here for you. Rick Tittle, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. What you got? Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, control ball, chess, checkers, rugby, cricket. Come on in and get heard at the toll-free line. 1-800-878-PLAY. All sporting topics are welcome. Love to hear from you. Also, we do some entertainment guests a lot. We're actually going to start the show after this quick break with Jamie Summers. If you're my age, you know exactly who that is. That's the bionic woman herself, Lindsay Wagner, 50 years on from her show. In 1975, she was on the $6 Million Man, and she died in like 2 episodes. Everyone's like, what the hell was that? They're like, oh, people like her. Let's bring her back. And in fact, let's give her her own show. Also at 9:40, as always on Tuesdays, we'll check in with Karen Lau from SouthSportTalk.com. An hour from now, filmmaker Sam Henderson has a Oscar shortlisted film called Adieu. Larry Wansley, a former Marine and undercover FBI agent, the head of security for the Dallas Cowboys, he has an autobiography. Let's see if it's a tell-all. And you, as I mentioned, emails rick@sportsbyline.com as we stream through sportsbyline.com. Go there, click listen live, any emails. Well, I just said that. TuneIn app, iHeartRadio app, Stitcher app. I'm streaming on YouTube on the Sports Byline channel. I'm also on Sports Byline on Twitch. It's pointing right at my face. It's a fascinating video. And CRN Digital +2, the cable radio network, channel 2 on your cable provider. The Twitter is @RickTittle. Come on back with the Bionic Woman.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Kohl's new clearance markdowns are intense. Up to 70% off is the kind of deal that'll leave you feeling stunned and make you whisper things like, "Where have you been my whole life?" to a cardigan. Just take a deep breath, steady your cart, and try to act normal. It's not possible. The savings are just too good. Shop new clearance markdowns now in-store and online at Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Store Kohls.com for details.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius. The best show ever. He's so wonderful. Genius. The best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
You're now listening to the Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
All right, thanks for that, and welcome to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's my pleasure to welcome Lindsay Wagner to the show, and we're discussing 50 years on from her role as Jamie Summers. If you're my age, you know exactly who Jamie Summers is. Lindsay, welcome to the show. I'm 60. I was right in that pocket in the 70s as a kid. And does 50 years feel like yesterday to you, or does it feel like a good 50 years ago?
It depends on the day. You know, I mean, I'm sure you do. Everybody would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it does not. I mean, as you get older, you hit certain ages that I think in your mind, as you're growing up, it means something. And then when you hit it, you go, I can't believe I'm that. But it doesn't feel like that because we've conceived it differently. So I think for me, even when you hit landmarks with your career like this, it's kind of the same. It's like 50 years. That's impossible. But then when I think about my life up to this point, it's, yeah, I guess it is possible. So it's odd. It definitely is odd.
And I think people don't even know that when they brought you on as Colonel Steve Austin's girlfriend, they killed you off. And then people are like, wait, we liked her. And like, uh-oh. We better bring her back. We better give her her own show. What was that like when that was like 2 episodes and you were dead, right?
Yes, it was supposed to be a 2-episode event on the show. It's kind of formula when you think of it. I mean, it still is. TV shows kind of have their formula that they follow depending on the show. But back then they were all pretty for an action show like that. If it was a male star, well, it was a male star because there was no female star. But prior to that point, the formula was you'd bring a female in and start a relationship, but you don't want to keep it because in the mind of the, what would you call it, the thinkers about how to proceed to keep this, most people watching, there was always this belief that if he got married, that the attraction by the females watching, the men are always going to like it because it's more action and so on, especially back in that generation.
Mm-hmm.
And that thinking, the women would have more of an ability for their mind to fantasize Steve Austin for themselves. But once he gets married, kind of the conditioning goes, no, don't be doing that, girl, you know? So that's, so I was one of those, bring her on and get rid of her, but it wasn't very wise to kill her off to get rid of her. And so the children, because the show was a very much a family show and very geared toward the youth, and so that was pretty bad. There were so many people parents that wrote in saying, "What were you thinking? You just freaked my kid out." And even the hospital, we had about 3 hospitals, children's hospitals. One was Boston. I think there was one in New York, and I don't remember where the third one was, that literally wrote from the children's hospital in Boston, that much I know. Excuse me. And they wrote in saying that 70% of our kids in this particular unit were just traumatized. We had to kind of deal with that for a little while. And so, needless to say, they had to bring her back to life. They picked up that ball and ran with it finally. So there was another 2-part episode that, but she couldn't come back on the show still. So what they did was give her amnesia. So she didn't have to marry Steve anymore. She remembered everything but her fiance. So very convenient. And they also sent her to, though she now was bionic, and she could do missions because she was wanting to thank them for saving her life. So she offers to do that, but she wasn't enlisting. She was just saying, "Thank you, and I'll do things if I can help you." So, but meanwhile, they made her a teacher. So now the kids could not only see that she was alive and well, but she was working with children, being a teacher on the Air Force Base. And so that's kind of how they solved the whole problem. But it was really turned out to be not what anybody else was expecting. And it was so popular and so well received that all the letters came rushing back again saying more and more and more. And so the board of directors of ABC at that time just said to the creative team, "Look, we got to have a series here. That's all there is to it. Just go for it." They didn't particularly want to do it, but they did it, and then they figured out how to make it fit in their thing. And now they had 2 productive, financially successful shows, So.
And to commemorate all that, bionic50.com. Tell us what's going on there, please, Lindsay.
Yeah, well, it's just 50 years. We decided to. That's kind of a landmark that we humans tend to celebrate as well. So 50 is the first. They call it the first half of our lives, so to speak. So 50 years was a natural thing to celebrate. 50 years of the Bionic Woman still being successful, running on TV, multiple channels, and it was just so cool. I wanted to celebrate it and thank the fans and for just keeping this alive. And first of all, for bringing it on. I wouldn't be here without you all, that and your parents. And it was just such an amazing event and so unusual. So having people come today, I do Comic-Cons now, and which, as a matter of fact, I'm doing one this coming weekend in South Carolina, the Central Carolina Comic-Con. That's in Columbia. And it's kind of nice that it was at the anniversary, which is January 14th. So when I noticed that, because they wanted me to come many, many months ago. So we decided, well, if I'm going to be doing a Comic-Con, why not? Let's make a bigger deal out of it. And so I put together just a few pictures, just 4 pictures for photos that have not been released before that to be sell. Because, at the Comic-Cons we sell photos, and we don't sell the photos, we sell our signature on photos. So to have new photos that people haven't seen before was part of the fun that we're doing. And also I wanted to set up the video chats that people do. It's a kind of a thing these days. People, kind of buy a few minutes of time to talk with the celebrity, whoever it is. Well, I said, let's do some of those because, to be honest, the reason I like doing the Comic-Cons is to hear the people's stories. I mean, yeah, they always want to ask me questions. What about this? What about that? But that isn't what's fun for me. What's fun for me is them telling me their stories. So I said, let's set up some. And by stories, I mean, what was it like for you? Tell me about you. And everybody's got stories of one kind or another. Some are very fun and funny, and others are very sweet, and some are sad and not sad, but like, for example, what I hear from a lot of people actually excuse me, is that I used to watch the show with my grandmother or my dad or my mom, whatever, whoever. But oftentimes grandma would come into it, which was just kind of cool. And of course, she's gone now. But when I get lonely or when I'm thinking about her and sad, I'll just put on an episode. And it's like, oh, it's just so sweet. Or I'll hear stories about how I learned about just from, and they obviously as adults, they could explain what they realized about themselves and their reaction to the show. But what they experienced or came away with was the fact that they could be strong and sensitive in the same person, that they aren't counterproductive. It was really interesting to hear. It's funny, the women were telling me stories like that earlier on than the men, but by the time the men started turning late 30s, 40s, they started saying very similar things. And that really tickled me, because that was our goal, actually, in the whole show when we were developing the character and the episodes.
Mm-hmm. Well,
does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know. I could talk to you all day, and unfortunately, we're out of time. Everyone needs to go to Bionic.
No, I want to hear your story.
Bionic 50.
We do 2 episodes.
You can come back again. Bionic50.com. We've been speaking with Lindsay Wagner, the first woman to ever win an Emmy in an action role for Jamie Summers and the Bionic Woman. Lindsay, such a pleasure to have you on. Have fun in South Carolina, and hopefully we'll catch up soon.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
All
Thanks
right.
for having us.
All right. Good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come on back on Sports Byline.
If you've got a property that you've been trying to sell and you've tried almost everything, I want to tell you about something that you haven't tried yet. You're going to think this offer is too good to be true, but it's not. Thousands of customers have sold their homes in any condition with Need to Sell My Home. This is a real opportunity from a highly rated company that buys homes all over the country. Did you know it's possible to sell your home right over the phone with no real estate commissions and no pesky open houses? Plus, every offer is a cash offer with no mortgage holdups. To find out how much you can sell your home or property for, call now. Take 5 minutes of your time and call for this 100% free quote to sell your home.
800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. That's 800-430-0674.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
People ask me, you must have been the class clown. And I say, no, I wasn't. I sat beside the class clown and I studied him.
Rick Tittle once threw a tennis ball at a donkey.
All right. Thank you for that. And dang, Lindsay would have been a good 1 hour interview because I only asked her like 2 questions and she just went. And she had something to say. And her voice is the same. I got a little bit titillated that I was talking to Jamie Summers right there, who was a big deal when I was 10, 11, 12. You know, she was like the more approachable Farrah Fawcett and more of a badass than Farrah Fawcett in that time. I also had Lee Majors on the show in 2022, which I was reminded of my CTE or whatever, my dumbness. Is that a word? I had forgotten. I did see Lee Majors at Hugh Hefner's wedding at the Playboy Mansion. I always like telling this story because that was like the first cool thing I ever did in my career, and it's been all downhill ever since. But I think it was July 1st, 1989, I think it was. Anyway, I was looking at Lindsay Wagner's filmography, so to speak, and she had been on tons of shows before she got The Bionic Woman. Adam 12, Night Gallery, Rockford Files. She was actually in the pilot for the Rockford Files. Lots of stuff. But the thing I love the most is that when you were she's not a character actor, but she started off as one. And I remember Bill Burr talking about how he was watching old reruns of Dragnet. And he said every other episode was a villain playing a different guy. Maybe they'd give him a mustache. Maybe they wouldn't. It would just be a different guy. This is tremendous. Listen to this. I think this is amazing. And I would, if I had more time, I would have asked her about this. She was on Marcus Welby, MD, which was another huge show. Robert Young was the doctor, and it was a doctor who would make house calls, and he was, on a first name basis with all his patients. Marcus Welby was just like he was like a priest almost. He just was so caring. She was on that show 5 years in a row. First as Susan Davis, then Denise Mallory, then Emily Matosis, and then 2 episodes as Nurse Gleld Hill. She played 4 different characters. And Lindsay Wagner, I'll stop talking about her in a second. It's hard to describe, but when you're that pretty, usually you have this kind of, in my opinion, this sort of shine, like when you smile. She always kind of had a little bit of a deadpan look to her. But it worked. Normally you would think kind of a kind of look, but I guess that if I could like put it, and it's the different type of person, because Sydney Sweeney, if you can relate to her, her look is so deadpan. But I think that's intentional. I think that's just kind of her vibe. But Lindsay Wagner kind of had that same deadpan look, but it just worked. And like I said, she sounds exactly the same. So I've had on everyone from the 70s. By the way. I've even had Eddie Munster on the show. I've had Marty Krofft. Maybe it was Sid. All right. 1-800-878-PLAY. I'm not really into Schadenfreude for the A's. I'm very surprised at myself about how much I switched off. The A's moved to Sacramento because when the Raiders moved to LA, I stayed with them full stop. There was no changing at any point. But with the A's, I was like, we haven't had Eddie. I thought we had Eddie Munster on the show. We didn't have it. I think we did. I think we did have Eddie Munster on the show. I think we're wrong here. I know I had Robin. All right, I had somebody who was just like Eddie. It's funny. I think we had Eddie Munster, but I didn't think we had Steph Curry. That's fantastic. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So with the A's, I mean, they have such a fun, exciting lineup, and I've gone over it. Rookie of the Year and Kurtz, a young slugger that any team would drool over, and the Yankees and Dodgers just waiting to get him in 2 more years when the A's turn. But the A's now are locking up some young guys, which they never did before, like Butler, and Rooker's not a young guy, but he's locked up. They just locked up Tyler Soderstrom. Their first-round picks they've been hitting on: Soderstrom, Jacob Wilson, first rookie to start shortstop in an All-Star game. Kurtz, bam, 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 first round. And they've been drafting very well. But today there was a story that the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has, for a second time, refused the trademark applications for, quote, Las Vegas Athletics and, quote, Vegas Athletics. And it's interesting because they say that's too vague, because athletics could be running down the street. It could be track and field. It could be bowling. So we're not going to give you a patent. And then the A's, I saw the sheets. They got out the patent from when they were in Philly, from when they were in Kansas City, and from when they were in Oakland. They go, look, we got approved by the USPTO for all these other 3 cities. So why wouldn't we get it here? And I just love the fact, in kind of a Schadenfreude way, that the patent office is acting like they never heard of the team before. So what the A's are going to do now is they have to put together a survey. They have to go, and they said because it is site-specific, because you're naming a city in the patent, they have to go now to, I don't know how many signatures they need because there's no requirement, but they have to go take a survey saying, when we say Las Vegas Athletics, what do you think of? And they need people to say baseball team. Now, if they just say, when we say athletics, what does that mean to you? And they hope they say baseball team. Now, if they say, what are the Oakland A's? The answer is baseball team. No one's going to say, oh, the Oakland A's. That could be maybe some architects in the East Bay. No. So they're having problems with it. And it's just, sometimes something happens that's so perverse and so messy. And for them to go there, they're going to have this, it's going to be like the Raiders. They're going to have this amazing stadium. And I don't know how much oomph it's going to have behind it. By the way, I'm getting the other 70s kids. Jody from Family Affair. That was Buffy and Jody. Yeah, I mentioned Robin from Batman. Oh, the Beaver. I had Jerry Mathers. That's who I was thinking, not Eddie Munster. I had Timmy from Wansley. I had Rodney Allen Rippey, but not Butch Patrick. I still think I had Butch Patrick. If I go through I'm gonna go through my Twitter and see if I promoted. That's how I find out now if I actually had someone. I'll go into my own Twitter and look up Eddie. Did I have Eddie Munster on the show? Anyway, so I just thought it was. And look, like I said, I'm not rooting for the A's to fail. If I have a team, that's them. And I am surprised. I think a lot of it had to do with the Ballers. I embraced them, and that was kind of my baseball team. But they don't even start until 2 months after the Major League Stadium.
By the way, unless he didn't make it, Butch Patrick was on. I lost the date, but he was on.
He was on. See, I knew I was right. The big boss thinks he knows. Come on back.
With over $11 billion in total for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
I am an American veteran. To have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097. Do you need to sell your home? You've sold a home before. You remember how stressful and expensive it was. Sold.com is here to help you sell your home for the most money and with the least amount of stress. There are new ways to sell your home that you've never heard of before. Did you know there are companies who will offer you cash for your home? Did you know you could trade in your home for a new one? Did you know there are realtors who will sell your home for a flat fee instead of an expensive commission? It's true. Sold.com services are free. So if you're looking to sell, make this free phone call right now and learn how your next home sale can be faster and easier than you ever thought possible. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast, and around the world on American Forces Radio Network. Tuesday, 9:40 Pacific Time, we check in with our friends at salesporttalk.com. Once again, salesporttalk.com. And it is Karen Lyle who will co-host this segment with me. Karen, welcome back to the show. I know you want to kind of take a look back at everything that you did last year, huh?
Well, we did, of course, because this is a co-hosted show with Rick. I travel, you live vicariously, right?
That's right. I take walks and listen to podcasts, and you're gallivanting around. So what do you want to start with?
Well, I'm going to tell you what some of my favorite experiences are, and I'd love to hear what your favorite highlights are from the year. So for me, the actual experience of travel has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed going to see different boats and be on different boats and experience the boating community. For example, we had here in San Francisco, we had the tall ship Gloria from Colombia that came up, and we had the Eagle who came and, coming underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, which, both are naval tall ships that train cadets, for their respective navies. And those are a couple of the highlights. And then, of course, there was the Golden Hind, which is no longer on the water, but in the middle of London, which was wonderful to experience with the Boyers, with the company of Boyers, the ancient times when arrows and bows were slung off of masts to privateer on behalf of the United Kingdom at that time, Great Britain. So tell me about some of your favorite shows.
I think I like the ones when you were in London, probably. Yeah.
Oh, you do? No, and also I remember you were talking about how you were coaching the Metropolitan Police. Tell me more about that.
Well, yes, that has nothing to do with sailing, but I was a guest coach for a few weeks to the Met Police team, which they have this huge Metropolitan Police Department, the Bobbies. They have this huge sort of athletic facility in Hertfordshire, which is north of London, in a town called Bushey, which is just north of Watford. There's also a John Lloyd Tennis Center. You remember John Lloyd was married to Chris Evert briefly. But anyway, they have all these soccer pitches, and they have a football field. So the team is called the Mets, the London Metropolitan Police Department. And so I helped coach there. I also helped one of the PCs, police constables, had me be a guest coach for his 14-year-old son's basketball team in Hemel Hempstead, which is also in Hertfordshire. And it was interesting to see how little they really knew about, as they would call, American football. But it was fun to teach them, and it was a great time.
Well, I'm really always thinking that rugby is and soccer, their football is the main sport. But I'm actually continually surprised that there are a lot of American football fans in Europe and especially in England. And we had David Sandy a couple of weeks ago on from Aerospace Corporation. Well, I mean, he happens to be managing director, but he's a friend of mine. And he was he's rooting for the Patriots, in a conversation. Oh, I've got to go watch the Patriots game. And so, American football is becoming much more popular around the world. And I have to say it really is tied to yacht clubs, because I don't know a single yacht club in America, especially, that doesn't have football game parties, right?
Well, it's the number one sport in the United States, yeah. And even people who don't like football will have it on. I mean, you go into any bar or restaurant around America, and they're just going to have a football game on. It's just, and then in the summer, of course, baseball as well. But the reason Europeans love it so much is that they're intrinsically, in their DNA, very violent people, and they don't get to be violent unless they're boxing or MMA. In soccer, if you do something violent, you get a red card. Not only does your team go a man down, so you hurt your own team, but you're suspended for 1, 2, or 3 games, depending on the situation. So to dress like gladiators and to have this glorious sport where you can nail the hell out of each other, I can see why why they love it so much, because it is the most glorious of all sports.
Well, I have to admit that even with sailing, part of the fun and adventure is the fact that something can go wrong. And this year we had the dismasting of the Australian ship. I mean, during the not America's Cup, during the CLGP race in San Francisco. And we also had, just at the end of 2024, Pip Hare had a dismasting during the Vendée Globe race and had to drop out. And, just the sheer danger of being out there on the water in the forces and the elements, and having, especially if someone's racing and, they have other teammates out there and conditions that they're having to decide upon as to what they're going to navigate to win that race. That's part of the excitement, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like checking in with Pip because, as I mentioned when I first went on the air, I think this was in 2002 or 3, we had Bruce Schwab, who was from Marin, and he was the first American to do the Vendée, and he would check in by satellite phone once a week, and he would be in a good mood or a bad mood. He barely got any sleep. And I remember the one thing he was afraid of when he did sleep was that his boat would hit a log. And so, yeah, it was, those type of things. I think when we get a little bit, international, it's one of the reasons why we like these James Bond or Jason Bourne movies, is because they take us to, Budapest and Nairobi or wherever, like all over.
Well, and we've had people on our show who have been, like, in Sail Amsterdam, Kim Pasternoster and Milos Radovic. I can't remember how to.
Radakovic.
Thank you, Radakovic. I'm so sorry, Milos, if he's listening. Anyway, having been through Panama Canal, 72 times, and up to all around the world, through his celebrity cruises. And so certainly people are traveling all the time, and it's fun to talk to people about the passion that they have for being able to see new cultures and be involved in observing how the earth changes in different places to go back to. I really enjoy, just the adventurous spirit of the people who come on our show.
Yes, you think about, whoever has immigrated from anywhere to get out of their comfort zone, especially at times when you would spend 6 weeks aboard a ship in rough seas. You leave everything and everyone behind. And I remember reading this thing. It said, if you want to know what it was like being on a ship for 6 weeks, it was like being in a prison where you might drown. And I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible.
Well, everybody has a different way of experiencing pleasure. And I have to say that sailing is not for everyone. Some people like to dive, right? We did talk about diving. And I got my scuba diving certificate, for diving in the Monterey Bay in that 55-degree weather. And you think, why do people want to do that kind of thing, right? But it's amazing to be in an experience where you have this neutral buoyancy. I guess diving in the ocean is the closest that we can come to being in space. Mm-hmm. Where you have that sense of weightlessness, and you get the weights just right, and and your breathing actually affects how you go up and down in the water, and you're able to observe and let the fish come to you. That's not deep ocean diving, under like Sylvia Earle does, for example. But it is certainly an experience being under the water, in space, on top of the water, and on the land. We've had all of those in our show this year.
Well, also, I think before I let you go, it was really cool when you did like 2 or 3 shows from the BVI. We got to go down there with you.
That's true. That was my 10th year in the British Virgin Islands, and I'm going back again, of course, this year. This is 2026. Is this really 2026? It takes me like about 6 months to get used to the change. I'll be really good in January. I will do 2026, but then that February I'm going to start doing 2025 on some of my checks. It's just going to happen.
Sure. So what is on the docket for new adventures on the water for you, Karen?
Well, I think that I really enjoy bringing back people who have been here on our show. For example, we've had Taylor Caulfield, from the SailGP race. We certainly have we can't fail to mention the SailGP race has become so big that it's 12 months a year now, traveling all over the world, and has such support. And people are buying the teams, and the whole concept that was set up for SailGP is really working very well. And they're doing a lot of forward thinking. And I also, have to mention that women in sailing has been it's now just a natural thing. And I haven't really called it out specifically because the women and the men are competing in sailing, and nobody thinks anything of it. And that actually wasn't the case, even 10 years ago so much. It was more of an inequality. But now you're starting to see in the Olympics, for example, that the sport has to be evenly divided between the genders, and there's a lot of really great things coming up for both tall ships, adventure sailors who are going around the world that we're going to be talking to, checking back in with our friends who've been on the show before, talking about SailGP. And actually, America's Cup has changed. I didn't get a chance to talk about that, but we will talk about this in the future, is that there's now the structure of the 4 teams that were remember we had some teams drop out. Mm-hmm. Well, they've now formed kind of a coalition so that they're now making decisions for America's Cup together for the future. And that will be something we'll talk about soon. That's the first time in the whole history of America's Cup race that the way in which the race is being administered is going to be handled. And we'll also have as a guest on our show someone from the Royal Thames Yacht Club, who is the head of World Sailing, who's actually reorganizing the Olympics for sailing, so that by 2028 there's going to be a complete overhaul and change for how sailing is handled in the Olympics. I had a long conversation with him when I was in London, and he definitely has promised to come and be on the show.
Royal Thames Yacht Club, 1 year older than the United States. We've been speaking with Karen Lyle. Go to sailsporttalk.com for much more on all these topics as well. Karen, thanks for coming on, and we'll catch up next week.
We will indeed. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Rick, and I love hearing about the things that you've done with other sports when we're talking about sailing. It's great.
All right, thank you for that. We'll take a quick break and come on back on Byline.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
I hope I don't see you for a while. Getting sick of you.
Take your sick ass in the hospital.
Rick Tittle can usually be found at the Baby Mama House.
Thank you for that. Welcome back to this show. Rick Tittle with you. A couple minutes left in hour number 1 of 3. Give a little shout out to Greersy down at the Tank signing Wenberg to a 3-year, $18 million extension. Alex Wenberg is on the Swedish roster for the Olympics. By the way, Macklin Celebrini, congratulations to him. Obviously, he was going to make the Canadian, well, I shouldn't say obviously, he's a teenager, but where he is right now, top 3 in scoring in the league, they would be ridiculously stupid not to take Mac on the team. But the team they inherited, it was the end of, I don't want to call it a dynasty because the Sharks never won the Stanley Cup, but it was a team that went to the playoffs every year, won their division year after year, and you had Hall of Famers like Jumbo and Patty and Little Joe and very good other players like Cooch and Hurdle and Bernsey. There were a lot of nicknames going on here. But that team, the Vlasic contracts finally gave out, and so you draft Ekberg, and it's like Eklund is not going to be enough, and then you got to keep drafting, and you draft Will Smith, and then you get Mac, and then you get Michael Misa, who's with the CUDA, then you got to get veterans, and trading people out, trading people away like Hurdle, which hurt, trading these guys out and getting draft picks back, and it was just Greer's birthday yesterday, and believe me, there have been times like the Zetterlund thing I didn't understand. There are times when he's not going to be batting 1,000, no one does, but I'll just give him a little shout out. The Sharks, knock on wood, seem to be building something, and the Wenberg extension was really cool. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Byline.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. After Sunday's win over New Orleans, Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank asked head coach Raheem Morris to get out and take GM Terry Fontenot with him. I'm sure he did it very cordially, as Blank is a nice man, but he did. Now, amazingly, because of how successful this past year's draft was in reshaping the defense, there are some folks that really wanted Fontenot to stay. I'm not those folks. And I was all for Raheem Morris's hire, especially because he could at least bring energy, have a plan for the defense, and not be worse overseeing the offense as Arthur Smith was. And Morris wasn't worse, but when you have Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, and your offense is best known for false starts, you failed. You had to get it shaken, and it didn't happen nearly enough. In 2021, Fontenot was tasked with turning around a team that hadn't seen a winning record nor the playoffs in 3 seasons, and was still reeling from Super Bowl 51. After 5 seasons under Fontenot, the Falcons now haven't seen a winning record nor the playoffs in 8 seasons, and they're still reeling from Super Bowl 51, and that was 10 seasons and 2 additional Tom Brady Super Bowl rings ago. And never forget that Arthur Blank is paying Kirk Cousins $180 million for 2 more years, while also having Michael Penix, who's coming off a 3rd lifetime ACL tear, for 2 more years too. And right now, neither one of them is his answer. And if there's one image that will forever mark Terry Fontenot's time in Atlanta, it is, without a doubt, the shot of the Falcons draft room on April 25th, 2024, where Fontenot seems to be explaining to Blank exactly why they drafted Penix when they had committed to Cousins. It wasn't all bad, but it wasn't good either, and certainly not nearly enough to justify Fontenot staying. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle, biznatch.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Your ugly face has got to go. What is going on? I'm Rick Tittle. You're Poopy Head Jones. You know, the Warriors, they're a hard watch because of my personal disdain for Brandon Pajemski. He's never done anything to me. I have nothing personally against him. I just don't stand him as an entertainer. Or an athlete. But the Warriors, I get to the point where I'm like, all right, it's over, it's done. And then they go on the road and they win, and then they win again, and then they win again. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Should I have some hope? Should I? And then they come home, and Draymond gets thrown out of the game arguing a 3-second violation. I understand if somebody comes into the lane and elbows you in the face and posterizes you and steps on your chest and spits on you and there's no call. But you can hear him. He's going 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. It never gets called. So he runs over to the ref. While he runs over to the ref, Lauri Markkanen comes in and dunks. Just completely stops playing defense, stops playing whatsoever. So he gets teed up. And that's like telling someone, if you have ever worked in retail, they tell you never tell someone to calm down. If you've ever been arguing with someone, telling them to calm down, it's actually incendiary. Why do you think they give Ritalin to kids who are hyper? You're fighting fire with fire. So anyway, Draymond gets teed. He follows the guy, gets teed up again, and gets thrown out. And then last night, Steve Kerr gets thrown out, and the Warriors lose to the Clips. So, just for a second there, I thought maybe we're not a 500 team after, and I'm like, now we're a 500 team. But at Draymond's age, getting thrown out, just baiting a ref, daring them to throw you out, I kind of feel like we're getting closer to a bigger explosion here. I hope I'm wrong. Come on back.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. America we need right now. American Premium Vodka. Celebrate responsibly.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Hour 2 of titillating sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Hour 2 of titillating sports.
Hey, check out Channel 9. Check out Rick Tittle.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you downtown San Francisco and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to welcome to the show filmmaker Sam Henderson. He has directed a short film called Adieu, which has been shortlisted for the Academy Awards in the live-action short film shortlist. Sam, welcome to the show, and before we get into the film, I'm always interested in filmmakers who make 15-minute long movies. Did it start out as a feature, or was it the kind of thing where you thought, I'm looking at the script, this is a short film? How does that all kind of come together?
Yeah, and thanks for having me, Rick. I appreciate it. I've made 4 short films for this, and I'd never made a feature. And writing, producer partner, and I got to the end of the process of a 4th short film, and we weren't intent on making any more shorts. We kind of thought, hey, we've done it. We had a certain amount of success up to that point, and we wanted to get into the feature space. But then I had this specific conversation with my mom who's a middle school theater teacher who, the film is loosely based on, dedicated to her. And I had this conversation with her about school shootings and her approach to that and what that means to her and what she would do in that situation. And as a result of that conversation, this idea for Adieu. And it really just came out of nowhere. I was not intending to make another short. And so, no, we didn't have a feature version. We were thinking about feature ideas. We wanted to move format, start working in that space. But when I had this conversation with my mom, it just felt like something that was more conducive to the short film format. And maybe that was, Rick, us erring on the side of us being really comfortable in the short film space since we'd made several. But I just thought the story was more conducive to that particular form than trying to stretch it out to a feature.
Very good. Now let's talk about the plot of Adieu. It's Ms. Hopkins, as you said, based on your mom and a drama student. They're about to perform Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, and then I think you kind of gave it away. There's a threat, huh?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and that's thank goodness that has not actually happened to my mother. But as you know, Rick, and as your listeners know, unfortunately, this is not something that is really that made up in terms of what a teacher might face, a public school teacher might face on a given day. So, yeah, that's what that conversation was about. I asked my mother what she would do in that situation, which, again, thank you for actually been in, but just, hypothetically, she said, I think the only chance I'd have is if the shooter knew me. And she was just really struck by the possibility that the only chance she'd be able to survive that is if the person who was, going through this moment recognized who she was or remembered who she was when they were a student there. Maybe he was in her class, or she knew what, she goes by Miss B. Maybe he would remember who Miss B was to the school. And yeah, that's where the idea came from, just this idea that this whole threat that teachers face, and then making it personalized in terms of what my mother's approach would be in that situation. And so, yeah, the scenario in the film is fictitious, but the impetus for it is not. It's something, unfortunately, our teachers face, just about every day in this country.
And you're a teacher yourself at Baylor as you teach theater and film. And I kind of wonder your style, because there are some film schools that will painstakingly take you through, Fellini and Bergman, and then there are others who'll just say, camera, go into Washington Square Park and make a movie. Go. So where are you in between all those pendulum swings?
This is actually a great question. And, before I answer that, I always tell people I'm a fake teacher, a professor. I don't equate what I do to what my mom has done for the past 40 years. The life and expectations, and let's be quite honest, the pay between, middle school, public school teacher and a college professor, we can call it teaching, but to me, it's two different things. And so I view what I do as a very privileged position relative to what I've seen my mom do over the past 4 years. So yes, we're quote unquote teachers, but I always tell people I'm a fake teacher. My mom's a real teacher. Those are our real heroes. But yeah, that's a really great point, Rick. I think both are really, really necessary. I find that film schools, and this is something we're attempting to perfect. I find that film schools lean one side or the other that you've just described a little bit too much. You're only going to get so far. It's important to know the Bergman and Fellini, and it's important to show that and to analyze it and to talk about it and to discuss why it's influential or why it may or may not be good or what have you. I think that part of the intellectual side of filmmaking, I think, is very important. But it's only important to the extent that you actually go out and do it, right? The best teacher is doing something irrespective of your discipline. And so it's very important, in my opinion, to balance out all the intellectual knowledge that you have with filmmaking with actually doing it. And for a lot of students, depending on how students learn, a lot of people will just learn more that way by going out and failing and trial and error and figuring out as you go along. That's a really important part of the educational process. And obviously it's self-serving and biased, but I also think this is why it's important to be in a school, college, university setting for art. Hopefully you're working with individuals, with professors, with teachers, with professionals who have worked in the industry who can guide you through that process. And actually creates a pretty healthy, in my opinion, safety net for the artist to go out and fail and then come back and talk to somebody who's been through that experience to say, well, why didn't this work? Or what's another way we can approach that? And that's not something you can get from YouTube or just making a whole bunch of movies with your friends on weekends, right? I think there can be value in that, but I think the ultimate value is sharing experience with a professor, with a professional, with somebody who's been through that experience before.
Very interesting. Just time for one more question, and you got me going here. There's one thing that's sort of the je ne sais quoi, I think, of films is the term tone, and it's hard to describe, but you know it when you have it. So how do you teach something like the tone of a film?
Oh, boy. Well, you can just point at it, first of all, and say, hey, that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But tone is, as you're indicating, tone is a result of all of the elements in the film coming together, right? It's a thing that exists in between everything that was required for a film to be a film. So it's not something you can pluck out and say, I'm going to create this tone because it's this separate, tangible thing. It's a very intangible thing that's a result of all the other tangible things that you've instituted, if that makes sense. I think a great example that I haven't necessarily used this in my classes, but something that I tell people when we're talking about this or trying to highlight it is, a film that everybody's really familiar with that most people love is The Godfather.
Right.
And the reason why The Godfather is successful is because it achieves that, right? There's a consistency of tone in The Godfather that's very attractive and pleasing to the viewer, right? But the tone of The Godfather is not something you can pluck out and recreate in another instance, right? You can recreate the lighting setup of The Godfather. You can get, a group of capable actors and do a reading of The Godfather. The script is an actual thing that you can do, but you can't just pluck out the tone and replicate that because it is a result of all of those things coming together and the thing that exists in between the very intentional, very expert choices that were put into the film. And so, yeah, we try to discuss that, but tone is incredibly, by design, tone is elusive, and you have to get a whole bunch of other things right for it to even be a thing, let alone good or great. So we try to focus on the tangible, the objective things that work in film as best we can, and if you're really intentional about those things, then perhaps you can achieve the tone that you're also looking to gain as a result of the film you're making.
By design, it's elusive. I like that. All right, everybody, check out Ado. It has been doing very well on the film circuit. It is shortlisted for the Academy Awards. We've been speaking to the director and co-writer, Sam Henderson. Sam, great stuff. Thanks for indulging my questions, and hopefully we'll see you at the Oscars.
Yes, thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate it. Anytime.
All right, good stuff. I'm Rick Tittle. We will come on back with Open Lines on Byline.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? Most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
Hey, vacation lovers, it's finally time to use all those random facts you learned on TikTok for something that actually matters. It's the Radio Trivia Challenge from vacationbuddies.com. All right, here's how it works. Be one of the first 10 callers right now, and you'll score a complimentary 3-day, 2-night getaway from the Vacation Buddies. You'll stay at none other than Westgate Resorts, in your choice, Vegas, Orlando, Myrtle Beach, or Branson. You ready? To travel stats. Which of these 3 cities is the most visited vacation destination in the U.S.? A, Las Vegas, B, Orlando, C, New York City. First 10 callers get the trip. So stop scrolling and start dialing. And let's see if TikTok actually taught you anything.
Be one of the first 10 callers. Call Vacation Buddies right now. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. 800-340-1834. That's 800-340-1834.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
This is special too. It's look, see, still got the old tagger on it. See, never even played it. See?
You just bought it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't even point?
No, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No, you've seen
Don't
enough
look
of
at
that one.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
I have that effect on people. Larry Wansley, you don't know the name, but he's a very interesting guy with his background in the military and the FBI and the Dallas Cowboys, has written a book. We'll see how tell-all it is. Let's go to the phone lands. How about the land of the Lone Star? We have Christian in Houston. What's going on, bud?
Hey, Rick Tittle. Happy belated New Year, by the way. I'm pretty sure you probably feel more happier than anything that the whole Las Vegas Athletics trademark is not going to be used.
They will. They'll get it. They got it in the other three cities. They're just making them work a little bit harder, but they'll get it eventually.
I mean, are you sure about that?
I'm sure. They did it in 3 other cities. It's just whoever is at the patent office right now doesn't understand sports, but they'll get it one way or the other.
Oh, yeah, of course, because anything is being better than just being called the Athletics, which, of course, over the next 2 years, and those would be years 2 and 3, they would probably be named as that. Not West Sacramento or anything else, but still, though.
Good knowledge on West Sac. A lot of people don't even know that around here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, isn't Sacramento a part of the Bay Area anyways?
No, that's NorCal. We sort of cut it off at a town called Vacaville or Vallejo. It depends on where you want to cut it off.
Oh, okay. But still, though, enough about all that. I just basically wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. First of all, when it comes down to the NFL playoffs, I mean, what do you think is – what am I trying to ask? When it comes down to the NFL playoffs, I know it's kind of hard to see, the Texans and Steelers reignite the Houston versus Pittsburgh rivalry on Monday Night Football next week. But it's also going to be hard to see the Chicago-Green Bay rivalry go over to prime. But when it comes to these contracts, especially when it comes to the playoffs, do you think that we're going to probably be, trying to be with less? Or do you think that we're going to wish we want more after the round of action gets done on Monday?
Well, we always want more. This is why, not me, but America, at least the executives at television and Madison Avenue think we want more, and they keep having these ridiculous spring league, one after the other, and mergers and weird rules and regular rules. But it got, you're too young to remember, but in the 80s when they had the strike, the network showed Canadian football, and it was the biggest abomination I've ever seen in my life. There was a 55-yard line. The end zones were 20 yards deep. You punt on third down. You could start running towards the line of scrimmage before the snap if you were a wide receiver. It was like, we don't want football that badly that we'll watch this trash.
Well, if I recall correctly, there were 2 strikes during the 80s. But the 82 strike you're mentioning was the one where you had the CFL on NBC and you had CBS show the Division II football.
Well, then we had the year where we had scabs. Do you remember
that? I've heard of it because every time I hear Sean Payton, I always got to remind myself he's a scab.
Very, very good knowledge. Remember Todd Christensen of the L.A. Raiders at the time, as the fake Raiders were walking in, Todd Christensen was screaming, "It's not the NFL. You're not in the NFL. You're not in the NFL." But the announcers were the same. And one guy said, "I just heard Pat Summerall. He called my name on national TV. It seems like the NFL to me."
And I bet that dude will probably never live that down for the rest of his life.
I feel bad, every union is different. That's why I'll never just say I'm pro-union or I'm anti-union. My grandfather hated the union that he was in because they wouldn't let him talk and they wouldn't let him vote on anything because he was a foreigner. He was from Denmark, and they said, "Don't worry." And then they made him go on strike when he didn't want to go on strike. So he grew up hating unions, but I understand why they're around. Fat cats don't manipulate you in such things. But, anyway, I'm getting off the tangent. Go ahead, Christian.
Understood. But still, when it comes down to the playoffs, it's just surprising to me. San Francisco lost to Seattle, and now Seattle is basically the top seed in the NFC. Then you got the AFC. All roads lead to Denver. But still, though, I just hope that the Texans don't get cursed like the Ravens got cursed over the weekend. That was really crazy to see all that happened.
Well, it kind of is on brand, I think, for the Ravens this year. It just happened for them, and whatever could go wrong kind of did. They hung around, and it was almost kind of fitting in a way that the poor kicker botched it in the end. And that's not you don't want to hear this when you're a fan, but it's not an easy kick. In the wind at night in January and that, and it wasn't super close either. I think it was 49 yards. So anyway, I kind of feel like the Ravens were kind of headed towards something like that.
Yeah, and they were kind of set up for failure when Mike Tirico did the whole NBC everybody has a story bit about the kicker before the kicker missed. That was the big jinx right there.
Well, I got to say, Mike Tirico had a pretty good call for that. Sounded like almost like a call that you would have from the home crowd. So I thought it was pretty good.
It was fun, but then again, I just can't wait for the playoffs this weekend. But still, though, another thing that I want to get off on before you get off and do the rest of your show and I get off and listen, when it comes down to the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement, I know this isn't something you want to hear about, even though y'all got a team in the area. I don't have a dog to root for yet, but when it comes down to the collective bargaining that the WNBA has to deal with and keep pushing it back and pushing it back, keep in mind, Unrivaled just started yesterday. If the WNBA doesn't get their collective bargaining ducks in a row, that probably might be the only game a lot of those ladies will play this year. But I just want to ask, Do you think that the WNBA needs to do some strong arming with the Players Association just to get these things going, or what's going to have to happen between those two?
I don't know. I think some definite changes are in store when you think about players openly challenging Kathy Engelhart. Engelhart, Dom.
Engelbert.
Thank you. I should have asked you. Engelbert. When openly challenging. So normally I would say, they'll get it done. But I do think with, rival revenue sources coming in, as you mentioned, and, now at the point where the WNBA is not just some fringe thing for little girls to go to, that actually men are interested in the WNBA now. I mean, look at Dom. He's a fan. I mean, now that they have real, I don't want to say real fans like the other fans weren't. What's the word? Now they have a broader fan base. Let's put it that way. This could get ugly. I'm not saying it will, but normally I just kind of think, they'll work it out. But this has a potential to be ugly, so we'll just see how it goes down. But, of course, whenever there's a strike or a lockout, the big loser is always the fan, regardless of the sport. So, anyway, I got to run, Christian. Thanks for the call, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I enjoyed being on here. I will talk to you on social media, and check out Focus Fights Audio wherever you get your podcast.
Focus Fights Audio. Come on back with Larry Wansley.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you can save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
My fellow Americans, let the message ring out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy the best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this moment, together, and we will start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. America we need right now. American Premium Vodka. Celebrate responsibly.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
I honestly just got the chills as you described it again for me.
You must be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what had happened.
All righty then. We're waiting on our guest. And when we get him, I guessed we will put him on the show. Oh, my gosh. How do I come up with this stuff? I'm so funny. 1-800-878-PLAY. I saw this story out of New York. Walking here. What do you know from Staten Island? You live in the Bronx. Joe Shane is the GM in New York. And there was an article that talked about how he's just impressing everyone with his cutting-edge technology. And that he says that, Shane says that he's used AI tools like ChatGPT to build the nucleus of young talent around him that assists in hiring coaches and free agency and the draft. And I just want to say, hello, the Giants suck. Why don't you just say, I'm using ChatGPT? All right, that's cool. Do you brag about something you're doing when you suck? That's like saying, I'm using trampolines to slam dunk. Check out my East Bay Funk Dunk. Check out my Tomahawk Reverse 360 No Look. Joe Shane is impressing. He's impressing who? You could say he's lazy ass. Why are you? It's obviously not working. The Dable thing didn't work out. You almost got the number 1 overall pick. So, yeah. Now, speaking of data, there was an analysis done by a national survey company called Ampere, and I never heard of it. And this is just some talk show fodder, but this is a talk show, so I'm going to throw it out there. It was, tell us what your favorite sport is as an American. And it was interesting. Number 1, you might imagine, is football, which came in at 36%. Next was basketball, which came in at 18%. Then soccer at 10%, baseball at 8%, and then 5% or less ice hockey. What other kind of hockey is there? I guess there's field hockey. Tennis, boxing / MMA, and then 2% of Americans said golf. I would have thought it would be more than 2%, actually, especially all the fuddy-duddies. But I'm sure that baseball is laughing and saying there's no way. But if you compare Major League Baseball to Major League Soccer, it's incomparable because baseball blows away Major League Soccer, and baseball's attendance is going through the roof coming out of the pandemic because people want to get outside. You know what the big change? What's been the big change in you, Rick? Well, let me tell you, Rick. What have you done differently since the pandemic? I almost never went to live music shows before the pandemic. I just thought they were a pain in the ass. I'd go to one a year. Now I go all the time. I don't know. I sort of felt like I just sort of discovered, not even rediscovered, but discovered that. But yeah, coming out of the pandemic. So if you say what's your favorite sport? And then people talk about, well, I love Barcelona. I love Liverpool. I love Real Madrid. I love Al Ahly, whatever it is. And it's like, do you like that more than you're a Blue Jays or Orioles or Astros fan? What about the Braves? And they're like, yeah, I guess so. So I have always said on this show, and I've been doing this show over 20 years, I've always said 10% of us in America like soccer. So I feel a little bit vindicated. I should say validated there. And 10% in a country this large is plenty. That's millions and millions of people. Right? Let's say we're 300 million people, 30 million. That's a lot of people that like soccer. And then you have fringe people as well. But I get asked that question all the time. What's your favorite sport? What's your favorite sport? So if I could only watch one thing, one team, I would watch Tottenham Hotspur. That's the only must-see TV for me. But in my bones, my favorite sport is football. My first love was the Raiders. My first idols were Raiders. It was the sport that I always wanted to play. I didn't concentrate on it. I also played baseball and basketball, and I also played soccer and tennis as well, because especially when you go to an all-boy Catholic high school in the hood like I did, all I had to look forward to was going to practice. I didn't have a cute girlfriend sitting across from me in class. It was all guys. And so my favorite sport, if you want to think about it intrinsically, as I ask myself again, is football. Probably my second favorite sport, as far as just strategy in the game, is baseball. So football and baseball are top two. But my favorite team to watch is Tottenham Hotspur. And I would rather watch them than do anything else. And so, anyway, it's a survey. I don't think alarm bells will be ringing anywhere at the Major League Baseball offices. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised that basketball is so popular, but basketball is more of a star-driven league, and football is a team and city-driven league. Like when Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay, did everybody stay with him? No. But I think if Steph Curry left the Warriors, people would stay with him. All right, Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We have found our guest. It is Larry Wansley, who's had an amazing career in the military and law enforcement, and also with the Dallas Cowboys. And we can call him author because he has a new book called Tough Streets, Rough Skies, and Sunday Sidelines. Larry, welcome to the show. And if you could just give us a quick nutshell on your background before you made it to the Dallas Cowboys, please.
Okay. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. My background, quickly, is Marine Corps, Compton, California Police Department at the beginning of the urban riots during the 60s. FBI, most of my FBI career was spent in deep undercover roles, basically 5 over the course of almost 9 years. And then from there, a counseling reset at the FBI Academy to kind of reset from the undercover roles. And then right after that, went to the Dallas Cowboys, and it was an opportunity to really create a lot of programs that are now standard in the NFL, player programs, player development, team security. None of that existed before I went to the Cowboys, and that was because of the vision and foresight of Tex Schramm. And so we created a lot of those programs early on, and they became the standard for the NFL. During the NFL or the Cowboys years, I became on a very, very interesting role as the bodyguard for Whitney Houston. She was at the peak of her popularity at the time, and her father hired me to basically be in charge of her security. And going back to Tex Schramm, who had the visionary perspective to say that, look, I'll let you go do that as long as you promote football, because the NFL is going to start an international league. So as long as I can reach you, no matter where you are, as long as the operation here will continue, and as long as you promote football, have at it. So I did, and at every stop along the way on the tour, I had boxes and boxes of Cowboys swag. And she even did a number during some shows wearing Cowboys T-shirts. So you simply cannot buy that kind of stuff. Anyway, after that, the Gulf War started, and I became the director of corporate security, global security for American Airlines. My airline career was phenomenal, fantastic, very, very challenging, exciting, and I was the guy on 9/11 that it all started with, and that was the most horrific time in my life, as it obviously was for a lot of people around the country and around the world. Created a program that now that touches everybody, because if they fly, it's the result of work that we did in creating a screening process that is now the TSA. Back to the Cowboys after American Airlines. I retired from American Airlines after 9/11, and back to the Cowboys as the director of corporate security. As you well know, a very, very vast entity, but I have the privilege of really working with my son, well, until October. I retired in October, but my son, Brian, is the director of player programs, player development, which encompasses also heading up the team security division also. But anyway, that's it in a nutshell, and it's a lot to say in a short period of time. But I'm very, very fortunate to have been surrounded by outstanding people who, quite frankly, made me a lot better than I deserve.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. I have only about 55 more questions for you, but everybody, you can pick up the book Tough Streets, Rough Skies, and Sunday Sidelines. Go to LarryWansley.com for more. Larry, thanks for coming on, and hopefully we'll have more time next time.
Absolutely. Take care. Be safe out there.
All right. I'm Rick Tittle. We'll take a quick break and come back on Sports Byline.
Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816. Do you hear that? That's the sound of uncertainty lurking under your hood. You know the feeling. I know I do. That sudden sinking sensation when you see a check engine light or your car unexpectedly breaks down and you're faced with sky-high repair bills. It's time to shield against unexpected repairs with CarShield. CarShield is America's most trusted auto protection company and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Don't let the fear of a breakdown keep you up at night. Trust the Shield, CarShield, and say goodbye to terrifying repair bills and hello to peace of mind. Your plan also comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, courtesy towing, rental car options, and so much more. Don't wait till it's too late. Call CarShield now before a breakdown. Protect your wallet. Protect your car with CarShield. Get our best protection ever. Call now. You'll thank me later. 800-247-6135. 800-247-6135. That's 800-247-6135.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
To me, it's like a mountain, a vast bowl of pus.
时间不会瞬间改变天空的颜色，别让我在黑夜看不清方向。记忆中的每幅画面不再是绿色，希望中会布满每一个角落，希望中会布满每一个角落。
Who cares about anything else when you've got Rick Tittle on the radio?
All right, thanks for that. And a couple minutes left in hour number 2 of 3. Lots of open lines in hour number 3 coming up. The Dallas Cowboys have fired their defense coordinator, Matt Eberflus. Eberflus, which means they'll be going on 4th different defensive coordinator in 4 straight years. Dominic Jimenez, you said you had a trivia question for me. Go ahead.
All right, Rick. Which college holds the record for most seasons where one of their players scores a touchdown in the NFL? I may have forgotten a word there. Let me know if that didn't make sense.
Yeah, so you're saying every year there's a touchdown scored in the NFL by an alum or a former player of this school.
Every week of a season. I did screw up.
Every week of a season, it's happened one time?
No, so the record is 9 seasons in a row that a school did it. What school did it?
Alabama?
So Alabama is the current record holder that's active. They've done it 6 straight seasons after this season.
Ohio State?
That is not it.
Cal. I thought it was maybe something like that. Penn State?
No. And this doesn't count quarterback throwing touchdowns.
Yeah, right. Miami?
Miami is correct. From 2002 to 2011, every single week of the NFL regular season, a Miami player scored a touchdown.
Wow. All right. What was that, my 5th guess? I guess. All right. Thank you for that. By the way, Tex Schramm was mentioned. I wish I had more time for Larry Wansley. We had a little mix-up in the phone number. But Tex Schramm is the guy that invented the combine. Every player flew to every team for a physical, and he said, this is madness. And then some players are like, I'm only going to fly to the teams I want to play for. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We got another hour. Come on back.
Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. After Sunday's win over New Orleans, Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank asked head coach Raheem Morris to get out and take GM Terry Fontenot with him. I'm sure he did it very cordially, as Blank is a nice man, but he did. Now, amazingly, because of how successful this past year's draft was in reshaping the defense, there are some folks that really wanted Fontenot to stay. I'm not those folks. And I was all for Raheem Morris's hire, especially because he could at least bring energy, have a plan for the defense, and not be worse overseeing the offense as Arthur Smith was. And Morris wasn't worse, but when you have Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, and your offense is best known for false starts, you failed. You had to get it shaken, and it didn't happen nearly enough. In 2021, Fontenot was tasked with turning around a team that hadn't seen a winning record nor the playoffs in 3 seasons and was still reeling from Super Bowl 51. After 5 seasons under Fontenot, the Falcons now haven't seen a winning record nor the playoffs in 8 seasons, and they're still reeling from Super Bowl 51, and that was 10 seasons and 2 additional Tom Brady Super Bowl rings ago. And never forget that Arthur Blank is paying Kirk Cousins $180 million for 2 more years, while also having Michael Penix, who's coming off a 3rd lifetime ACL tear, for 2 more years too. And right now, neither one of them is his answer. And if there's one image that will forever mark Terry Fontenot's time in Atlanta, it is, without a doubt, the shot of the Falcons draft room on April 25th, 2024, where Fontenot seems to be explaining to Blank exactly why they drafted Penix when they had committed to Cousins. It wasn't all bad, but it wasn't good either, and certainly not nearly enough to justify Fontenot staying. I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly. Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, They provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
Love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle shizzle biznatch.
Thank you for that. Hour 3 underway. Lots of open lines at 1-800-878-PLAY to talk about what you want to talk about. Ugh. Stupid. Congratulations to the Montana State Bobcats. Absolutely extraordinary FCS championship over Illinois State, Normal Illinois Redbirds. And a game that featured a 20 comeback, a blocked goal, a blocked PAT in overtime, a game-winning touchdown pass on a 4th and 10. And as I mentioned last summer, I was in Bozeman, where Montana State is. I climbed to the top of this, I don't want to say mountain, but this part of a mountain where a big M was, and looked down on the campus. And Bozeman's a really nice town, by the way. It's it's kind of Tahoe-ish. Some other places in Montana, like anywhere, good and okay. I always wonder, though, they have an M on their helmet. They have an M on the mountain. That seems more like Missoula, where the University of Montana is. There's no MS. Maybe because MS is an affliction. I don't know why they don't go with MS. But I do know that the Bobcats won. And a friend of mine played football there. He was a defensive lineman there. And he was actually a pretty good player at the time. So I was pulling for Montana State. But if you want to just watch the highlights of that game, I mean, it is a thrilling game. It is a national championship. You know, for that level of football, and I can relate to that level of football. So very cool. 1-800-878-PLAY. We're also on Twitch.tv and not Yahoo. Yes, Yahoo. YouTube. Yahoo seemed wrong because it is YouTube. Come on back.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624. Hey, airline travelers, let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do you do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. Insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he's to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fire carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful, genius, the best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
All right, thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on American Forces Radio Network, 11:12 a.m. Pacific Time. And we check in, as we normally do, at this slot with J.D. Sharp, pro wagering, professional handicapper, prognosticator, and give you a better chance at winning a sports bet. And J.D., let's just jump into the wild card weekend. We have two games on Saturday. Just wondering your first thoughts here on a Tuesday about that first game, Rams at Panthers. Because the Panthers were 10.5 and now 10, I see. And I've always been told if you can get those, you don't want to lay 10 points in a playoff game. But how do you see it?
Sorry, which game again?
Rams at Panthers, 10-point dogs at home.
Yeah, it's the Panthers. Michael Jackson's had a pretty good year. He's played pretty well at corner. This is Bryce Young's biggest stage in his pro career. The Rams have played okay as of late. They get Devontae Adams back, I believe. If they get him back, I mean, 10.5 points is a pretty big line for a playoff game. But also, I mean, you have the Rams against the Panthers. The Panthers are perceived as by the general public as just not very good. And I think that if they're healthy, I mean, the Rams, and we've talked about this all year, the Rams defense I don't think is that good. I think it's very overrated. They played well in certain spots, but I think if Bryce Young and that team is healthy, and maybe there's an issue or two on the Rams. I mean, are the Rams going to lose the game? I highly doubt it. But I look at that game, and I think there's a pretty decent chance that the Panthers actually cover that spread, Rick.
I have a feeling I want to agree with you on that one as well. Let's talk about Saturday night, and this one is almost a pick-em. The Bears are a 1.5-point favorites at home against their black and blue rivals, the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, this is such a crazy game because the Packers have looked so bad lately. Love's been hurt, or Jackson has been hurt. Love didn't play last week. Clayton Tune played. If Odunze plays, I think the Bears probably win the game. If he doesn't play, I think the Packers probably have too much. I honestly like Caleb Williams. I like what I've seen this year from him. 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, only sacked like 22, 23 times compared to 50 or 60 times last year. He evades the rush really well. He's better than I thought he was going to be. And, I mean, I've actually invested into quite a few of his rookie cards because they're still cheap, comparatively, because he's got such a bad rep after his rookie year and just kind of the way that he operated in his hands on the field. So I hope the Bears win the game, just personally, but I have to look at it circumstantially. And if Odunze doesn't play, doesn't have enough weapons. DJ Moore really hasn't done anything. I think he's kind of getting old. Luther Burden's been pretty good. Obviously, Loveland, Komet, they played well. Swift's played okay. But both teams have quite a few weapons, and I think both defenses are prone to giving up plays and giving up big yardage. So instead of a side here, I might take a close look at the over, Stu.
So, who was your team growing up? Were you a Bears fan? Was that because of the Midwest?
You know what? Honestly, I collected cards. I collected sports cards, and I never really had a team. I had one player that I really liked, and it was Barry Sanders.
Mm.
When I would, and I liked Randy Moss too. I'd go to church in the morning, and I'd just be waiting until that game. I'd sneak out of church halfway through, and I'd start going and watching the game in the nursery room where they had the TV on. And so yeah, I was a Barry Sanders fan. I collected as many Barry Sanders cards as I could, and then once Randy Moss hit the scene, I really liked watching that Vikings team play.
All right, very, very good. Let's take a look at the early game on Sunday. We'll have 3 Bills at Jags. This is interesting because at the beginning of the season, we would just say slam dunk. Bills probably be favored by 14 in that one, but now they're still favored, but a point and a half. The Jaguars, they will be hosting that game. What do you think?
Again, this is a situation where you have another quarterback that's been maligned the last 4 years. That's actually very, very good, and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, the last 7 games, has had 19 touchdowns and 1 interception, 68% completion percentage. He's by far the best player, not just the best quarterback, but the best player in the NFL for the last 7 weeks. That D, they've got Armstead, they've got Travon Walker. They've got a good enough D. I mean, but then also on the side of the Bills, they don't play the run very well. Etienne's had a good year as well with the Jaguars. I mean, it's one of those situations. Trevor Lawrence can't get this done against this team, considering there's no Jackson, there's no Lamar Jackson, there's no Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of players that aren't going to be in his way this year to get into that Super Bowl. I think if he loses this week to the Jags, he has to drop him down a little bit. Yeah, he won an MVP. Yeah, he's had great years. He's an unbelievably talented quarterback, probably the most talented quarterback in the history of the NFL. 6'5", 230, 4'5", throws 80 yards, and runs, jumps. He's smart. He does all that stuff, right? But Trevor Lawrence in his own is one hell of a prospect. He's probably a top 3 prospect in the last, or probably top 5 prospect in the last, 30 years. I'm talking Elway, or 40 years. Elway, Luck, Lawrence, and I would say Josh Allen, and maybe you can put Mahomes in that conversation if you wanted to, or maybe Marino. But yeah, I think the Jags have a real good chance to win this game. Honestly, Rick, I think that this Jags team is playing well. They run. He's got 3 or 4 wide receivers. Lawrence can run himself. Again, it might just be a situation where both Ds just don't play that well. The quarterbacks play great. The game is over.
Real quick, the Niners hosting the Eagles. The Niners were flying, scoring like 38 points a game, and then they bumped into Seattle, and even at Levi's, Seattle just shut down that Niner team. The Eagles have kind of stumbled a little bit, but they are the 3 seed at home. Think about Niners at the champs.
The Eagles play D. The Niners don't play D. The Eagles can score. When they're playing well, they can score. Brown, Goddard, Smith, Barkley. This Eagles team is just as good as they were last year. I mean, they're an incredible team. Wouldn't be shocked at all if the Eagles actually two-peated this year. So yeah, I'll be very surprised if the Niners can stop the Eagles. Sorry, I'm walking on the script. If the Niners can stop the Eagles, and if the Eagles give up 28, 30 points to the Niners, which they're going to have to lose this game.
Chargers at Patriots, and Drake May looked so good for basically the last 4/5 of this season. What do you think in this one?
What's the spread?
The spread is 3.5. The Chargers get.
And they're on the road?
Yeah, they're at Foxborough.
I like that Chargers deal a lot. I'm not sure if I believe in Vrabel and his team. The whole Stephon situation. Again, May's been great. He's almost been too great. You know, what's he have, like 72% completion percentage this year? He hasn't really had a letdown game.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it almost never ever happened. It's not like he has amazing talent. He has good talent around him. Trayvon Henderson, Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, Keyshawn Boots. But I almost feel like he's due for a bad game. This Chargers D, if they're healthy, Derwin James is a problem. Khalil Mack is still there. They play good team defense. Herbert's got enough weapons offensively to get some things done. I think I like the Chargers to cover the spread, Rick.
All right, and then finally, Monday Night Football, the Steelers are hosting a game. They got by Baltimore in dramatic fashion, as we know, with the missed field goal. The Texans come to town. The Texans are favored by 3.5 because of that great defense. But you have Aaron Rodgers, a savvy vet, versus C.J. Stroud, the youngster. What do you think?
You know, and Metcalf's back for this one. He's playing, you know. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm kind of going back and forth on it. I think that defense just might be too good for Aaron Rodgers. You know, Bill Anderson around the edge. Can Rodgers combat that with a good secondary? Stingley, Lassiter, Trey, Kalen Bullock, Alshire, I believe. And then defensively, the Steelers' defense has not been that good this year. Like, they have a lot of players. Ramsey got a last game as well. You still got Nico Collins. You still got Jaden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson, Christian Kirk. Not Christian Kirk, but Christian Kirk. I'd probably lean Texans here. I like Boswell, though, a lot, but I'd probably lean Texans with the points, honestly. I think they probably win by 7+. What I said to guys.
There he is, J.D. Sharp, Pro Wagering. J.D., good stuff, man. Have fun, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. See you, man.
All right, and we have open lines the rest of the way. 1-800-878-7529.
Who's watching me? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? When I come home at night, I roll the door.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40! You take a mortal man and put him in control. Watch him become a god. Watch people's heads roll.
Ask Rick Tittle to bring it because it already done got brought.
It gotten braten, sour braten, all the German food you would like. I love German restaurants, mostly because of the beer. But I'm meat potatoes, ja. Wurst, Lebensraum, Wiener Schnitzel. I remember my relatives came over and they said, What is this Der Wiener Schnitzel? First of all, it's Das Wiener Schnitzel. And second of all, they don't even serve any Wiener Schnitzel. It's a hot dogs. So it's grammatically incorrect, and they don't serve it there. And I'm like, well, yeah, we don't care. No, it's going to get all mad about that. All right, one of my favorite rumors. Sorry, who's your nation? Who's your daddy? One of my favorite rumors now is that Kurt Signetti could come to the Raiders along with Fernando Mendoza. Is that so far-fetched? I just want to be loved. Is that so wrong? The guy who just signed an extension. Now, Signetti is not a spring chicken. He's 64. That's still 10 years younger than the guy they just had. He only has 2 seasons of experience in a power conference. But this is the highest his stock will ever be. And his name has not been tied to the Titans or the Giants or the Browns or any other team that's looking for a team right now. And at Indiana, since he came in, 25-2 at a school where their best player was Antoine Randall L. And their other best player left to play for a real school. So it's pretty amazing. And running off 14 straight wins, beating, you say, well, who'd they beat? Who'd they beat? Ohio State. Who'd they beat? Alabama. It's not like they're beating okay teams like BYU and Baylor. They're beating the best. And so Signetti just signed an extension, 8 years, $11.6 million per year. Wow. And there's also something that if they do win the national championship, he has something called a good market faith review. Good market faith review sounds like something from the Bible Belt. You're running a really good market here, and you're doing it in the name of the Lord. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut your taxes on your property. Thank you. So Indiana, if you want to look at any kind of outs, because of that good market faith review, they will be required to renegotiate his deal. And that it'll have to go to $13 million. There is a buyout of $15 million. Now, would he make the NFL jump? Would he leave an elite program? He just got in the who was the? Can you check, Dom? The quarterback just transferred to Indiana. He's going to take over for Mendoza, just like the guy that the Niners brought in. Mendoza took over for him.
Josh Hoover?
Yeah, what school was he from?
TCU.
TCU, that's what I thought. All right, thank you. The TCU quarterback is going to be the Indiana quarterback next year if things go to plan. He loves the program there. Would he be interested in making the step? As I said, Penn State came after him hard, and that's when Indiana panicked in a good way and gave him that huge extension. So would that mindset shift, I should say, if Indiana beats Oregon and then wins the national championship in Miami, which might be against Miami, which would be really cool. I'm actually rooting for the Canes and all this. Sorry, Hoosier Nation. What? Nobody knows. But it's the kind of thing where, you know, what if Bo Nix got drafted by the Raiders? Would he be Bo Nix right now? No. I really don't believe he would be. I don't. It's because of what Sean Payton does. Now, Bo Nix has talent. You know, what if that was Jackson Dart instead of Bo Nix? I think Jackson Dart would be putting up the same numbers. You got to have a better line and weapons and such things as well. But Cignetti said a couple weeks ago, quote, "We've accomplished a lot here in a short amount of time and still have a lot of work to do. I couldn't be more proud to be a Hoosier, and I plan on retiring as a Hoosier. The way the state has embraced us and our success in football has meant more to me than anything else. I just wanted to get on camera and let you know Curt Cignetti is going to work daily to make Indiana the best they can be." End quote. Talking about it from the third person. In Italian, it would be Cignetti. Cignetti. Curt Cignetti. And he doesn't want to say, "Hi, I'm Curt Cignetti." Remember that SNL sketch where they would, whenever they got to a Spanish name, they would pronounce it, and they said, "There's been a political coup in Nicaragua." And they said, "A bank robber drove away in a Camaro." The guy like really caked it. But yeah, Curt Cignetti, his compensation level is going to rise through the roof. He's 64, so to say I want to be a Hoosier for the rest of my career is, you know, an 8-year deal. He probably thinks I'll be over 70. That's time to call it quits. Maybe even beyond that time, I'll go ahead and commit. Why would you go to Sin City with Dumb and Dumber hair and just watch that go pear-shaped in 1 year with a GM who doesn't know what he's doing, from an executive whose credentials are super handsome, best quarterback in Super Bowl history, and after 1 year, they have both shown that they don't know what they're doing at all. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, "Tom Brady's going to turn it around." I go, "Why would you say that?" "Oh, it's Tom Brady." I go, "Well, what about Jordan? What about Jeter?" You know, and there are guys who were real. I mean, they go, "What about Jerry West?" I'm like, okay, well, Jerry West had Magic and Kareem and Kobe and Shaq and Phil. You still have to have the leadership and horses. That is true. But Cignetti was talking about Mendoza, and he even dropped Tom Brady's name because he was talking about Mendoza. He said, quote, "I've never been around a guy who wants to be as great as he does at such a young age." And I told his dad he wanted to be the next Tom Brady. If there were 25 hours in the day, he would spend all 25 preparing to be great. He's a special guy. All right, what about those college coaches that popped up into the pros? You know, like Steve Spurrier and Nick Saban and Chip Kelly and Matt Rule and Urban Meyer, right? All these guys. Steve Spurrier, when he built at Florida, and then he went to the Washington Redskins. Saban left LSU. He went to Miami. And then he said, I'm in a no-win situation. And he left. Kelly banked off his success from Oregon to go to the Eagles. And then he tried to be an OC in San Francisco and the Raiders and bouncing around. And then Matt Rule. You know, he was great at the aforementioned Baylor, and the Panthers brought him in and then fired him. And then he got a $40 million buyout, and he's now the head coach at Nebraska. Now you could say, well, Jim Harbaugh's not doing that bad. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Cignetti has won everywhere he's been. But I said, this is just wishful thinking for Raider fans like me. And to have a guy who is at least a Mendoza whisperer. I don't know if he would fix any quarterback, but that's the whole thing. It would be a package deal. Would Mark Davis pay $15 million to get him out of his deal? Yes, I think he would. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll be tempting. I think he'll think about it. I assume he's married. He probably talked to his wife about it. But the tenuous nature of that job is basically, I'll probably be out of a job in 1 to 2 years, or I can stay here the next 8 years. And it's like, I think I like Bloomington. All right. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Sports Byline.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book with a free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399, 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
You can swirl it, you can sip it, but the best way is to share it. Hey y'all, I'm Deanna, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You get that bold flavor of the Coke mixed with the smooth deliciousness of the vanilla ice cream. You have a juicy filet and a smooth, creamy float. It's an awesome pairing.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property.
If you're thinking about calling Rick Tittle, just put down that phone and shut your ugly face.
Oh, come on in and get heard. 1-800-878-PLAY. 1-800-878-7529. What you got? What you get? I'm talking more about the Raiders because it's my team. And in the market for a head coach, yes, once again. And Mark Davis owes money to Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce and Pete Carroll and John Gruden and Chip Kelly, and it goes on, paying a lot of people to have nothing to do with the Raiders. The Raiders this year ranked dead last in the NFL in just about every key offensive category. Points per game, 14.2, last. Total offense, 245.2 yards a game. 32nd. Rushing, 77.5 per game. 32nd. Sacks allowed, 4 a game. Last. And so the last time, the only other time they had the number one pick was 2007, and they took, of course, Jamarcus Russell out of LSU. And everybody just assumes it's going to be Fernando Mendoza. And I want to take Mendoza. I don't want to take Dante Moore. And it's not because I don't think Dante Moore might be better. And I have not even watched film on Dante Moore. I just don't want to overthink it. You know, I'll never forget when I had Cliff Branch, the late, great Cliff Branch, and the Raiders were thinking about drafting Kevin White, who was a wide receiver out of West Virginia who had an amazing combine. And then they had Amari Cooper, who was the best wide receiver at the top level. And Amari Cooper had amazing tape all year. And then Kevin White was this guy. Oh, my gosh, he's taller. He has. Oh. And I asked Cliff Branch, and he's like, why are we talking about this? You draft Amari Cooper. What are you doing? So I remember Kevin White went to the Bears, and he got hurt. He never had much of a career. Amari Cooper destroyed some Raider receiving records as a rookie. He got traded to Dallas, and he came back for about 5 minutes last year. I give credit to Amari Cooper for looking around and being like, do I want to be part of this worst team in football? Not really. So the betonline.ag, our friends, have the odds on the next coach of the Raiders. Brian Flores, once again, the Tom Brady connection, comes in at 2-1. And the Vikings have thrived under Brian Flores' very complex scheme, which blitzes at the highest rate, 49.5%. Let's round it off. Half the time they blitz. This is why Minnesota has 49 sacks. Now, you can only do that if you can cover people. So his job was even more impressive given how rough J.J. McCarthy was this year. McCarthy ranked dead last in the NFL in completion percentage, 57.6. Remember, he led college football in completion percentage. This is the thing that drives people crazy that draft people for a living. How can the most accurate guy in college be the least accurate in the NFL? Because he is. All right? McCarthy, his touchdown to interception ratio, less than 1 touchdown for every interception. In other words, 11 touchdowns, 12 picks, passer rating 72.6. So let's give Brian Flores Max Crosby and his choice of quarterback at the top of the draft. And Tom Brady knows him and likes him. Would that be something? The next favorite is Clint Kubiak, and the name Kubiak makes me throw up because I hate Kubiak. He was a Bronco forever. I remember they were like, when Elway's hurt, it's okay, we put in Coobs. And I'm like, if I hear Coobs again, I'm going to jump off a bridge. Clint Kubiak. I hate him because I hate his dad. But the 14-3 Seahawks are the number 1 seed. He's the OC there. And what he's been able to do with that offense and Sam Darnold. Darnold was second in the NFL in yards per attempt. And Darnold, as I said, what have I always said about him? The truth. He's a turnover machine. And he had the most turnovers in the NFL. Surprise, surprise. 14 picks, 6 lost fumbles. But when he wasn't turning it over, you look at JSN, he led the NFL with just under 1,800 receiving yards, the 8th most in league history, 1,793. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 79 first down catches. Way first in the league. And this is with great tight ends and the Puka Nakuas of the world. He still did. So what could Clint Kubiak, of course, Clint with the K, I hope his middle initial isn't K as well. What would he do with Aston Jonty? I thought it was funny when they said, what would he do with Jack Besh? Nothing. Then you get Kevin Stefanski, who's 6-1, and a 2-time Coach of the Year. And Stefanski, the only other Cleveland Brown coach to post 2 11-win seasons, Stefanski and Paul Brown. He led them to their first playoff victory 5 years ago, since 1994. But Brown's management effectively torpedoed his quarterback room by trading away Baker Mayfield and sending 3 first-round picks to get Deshaun Watson. And then giving him a fully guaranteed 5-year, $235 million deal. How would Stefanski be with Mendoza and Jonty? Brian Dable. He comes in with, 20-1 odds. I don't want Brian Dable. Well, wasn't he Coach of the Year 3 years ago? Yes, he was. He's only the second coach in the last 15 years to be fired within 3 years of winning the award. The other was Mike Vrabel, who won the honor with the Titans and then was fired 2 years later. And Vrabel has rebounded very well with the Pats, 2-seed division champs. Dable did get Jackson Dart to get comfortable in the NFL. He won a road playoff game with Daniel Jones. But I just saw Brian Dable in that Hard Knocks, and he bugged the crap out of me. And I already had neighbors in before the draft, and he was drawing stuff on the board. And it wasn't like, a skull session with John Gruden. It's like, all right, let's say the defense shows you a 2 deep. Now all of a sudden this safety comes down, you're single high, but the outside linebacker goes into the flat. What are they doing here? What do you do here? Do you adjust? Do you call the play that was called? No, he was like, I remember it was looking at Neighbors, and Neighbors was about to say, will you shut the F up? But it was almost like, can you handle the heat? Huh? How about now? I'm like, God, that guy's obnoxious. Really obnoxious. By the way, I saw this little piece of video about Gannon in Arizona. Of course, he got fired, and it showed him coming in. How many people here took the bus? How many walked? How many took a plane? You got that fire in you? I'm asking you a question, because if you don't got that fire in you, you shouldn't be here. I'm like, what in the hell is he talking about? I'm not following this at all. So there's Jesse Minter is 5-1. This is my favorite, 7-1 on betonline.ag to be the next coach of the Raiders. Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is ahead of Cliff Kingsbury and Mike LaFleur and John Harbaugh and Mike McCarthy and Bill Belichick. Thomas Brown. Who the hell is Thomas Brown? He's 25-1. You know? I don't know either. Robert Saleh was mentioned, and I don't want Robert Saleh to be my head coach. I don't think that he's a slam dunk to stink. I just think Robert Saleh is look what he did with that Niners D without Fred Warner, without Nick Bosa.
He's the passing game coordinator for the Patriots.
Thank you. Not even the OC, the passing game coordinator with a very generic name. I think John Harbaugh would be kind of like a rich man's Pete Carroll. In other words, a little younger, but a Super Bowl winning coach who's been around forever, and he would be okay. Dominic, if you don't mind looking up Jeff Hafley, Hafley, unless you know who that is. Jeff Hafley.
He is the Packers defensive coordinator.
All right. I've never heard of him. Rick, I thought you host the national show. Shut up. So as I mentioned, Saleh, no Bosa, no Warner, and guys like Cleveland Ferrell for him. The Niners went 12-5. They're the 6th seed. And the Niners were in the top half in defense, and they had the least amount of sacks, 20. How you can be in the top half of defense with barely sacking the quarterback is remarkable. And, in New York, what did he have? He had Aaron Rodgers and he had Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles 5 seconds into Robert Saleh's first year. So I think Robert Saleh is a good coach. I do not want him to be the head coach of the Raiders. I wouldn't mind Kevin Stefanski, but that's not the kind of thing where you're doing cartwheels. Clint Kubiak, I guess, is the young OC, the mind. Brian Flores, there's something about when people litigate that makes me feel iffy. And remember when he was fired in Miami, he said he was fired because he was black, not because that the Dolphins went down the drain. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying when you have somebody that will sue his boss, that can give you pause if you're going to be the new boss, whatever the situation is. Maybe it doesn't give you pause. But Svitek and Brady, the thing is, Mark Davis kind of fell on his sword, and he's like, okay, from now on, he's in charge. In other words, I hired Pete Carroll, and then Pete Carroll went out and got Geno Smith. By the way, Geno Smith deleted anything to do with the Raiders on his social media. Oh, no. I remember when Kyler Murray did that, and then the Cardinals re-signed him, and then he put all the Cardinals stuff back on his social media. It's sort of like, what was the original Facebook? MySpace. And then it would say relationship status. And I'm like, oh, he changed it to it's complicated. Or now it says single. I'm no longer a Raider. Bye-bye, Geno Smith. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back.
If you've got a property that you've been trying to sell and you've tried almost everything, I want to tell you about something that you haven't tried yet. You're going to think this offer is too good to be true, but it's not. Thousands of customers have sold their homes in any condition with Need to Sell My Home. This is a real opportunity from a highly rated company that buys homes all over the country. Did you know it's possible to sell your home right over the phone with no real estate commissions and no pesky open houses? Plus, every offer is a cash offer with no mortgage holdups. To find out how much you can sell your home or property for, call now. Take 5 minutes of your time and call for this 100% free quote to sell your home.
800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. That's 800-430-0674. Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals. So now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. Whether you want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world, we have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you up to $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816. Packages start at $29.99 a month with site agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security, smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News & World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
You think this is a humorous occasion? You are mistaken.
Tittle can usually be found at He Baby Mama House.
All right, thank you for that. And it was announced that for the first time in World Cup history, the big fan zones that will show the World Cup in the United States that are outside the venue will charge admission. And that's the first time ever. And people are saying, this is an abomination. This is the worst thing in the history of mankind. The tickets are already horrifying. How dare you charge for an outdoor venue? My answer is, don't go. I know that sounds cold-blooded, but and look, I know it's fun. When I heard that Germany got the World Cup instead of South Africa, so they went, oh, damn, you got it in 06. We're giving it in 10 to South Africa without even a vote. And I remember telling my friends, I was working at TV, I'm like, I'm going to that World Cup. They're like, what, in 5 years, whatever it was. I'm like, I'm going to that World Cup. And I remember getting to my relatives in Lauchringen in Baden-Württemberg, and they kind of run the town. They have the shoe store there, and they set up this huge thing in the square, this big, like bed sheet almost, this enormous movie screen, and watch Germany beat Poland 1-0 on an Oliver Neuville goal. And I just remember having this big old shine of Pilsner, and I